Hello friends, welcome back to Let's Play Mega Man Unlimited. And this is it, the final, maybe, Wily stage. Possibly the last part in the video, who knows, I'm not gonna reveal any spoilers. I bought myself some extra lives off camera just because I really... This stage can be a bit arduous. It's not quite as... Honestly, it's not as difficult as the previous stages, I don't think, once you've got a handle on it and you know what you're doing. Like, the previous 3 Wily stages, I had to like practice those, and they still took, like, even after practicing them a bit, it's just they're so consistent with the, like, really tricky jumps and really tricky hazards that will just kill you instantly if you screw up. That it's like those levels, the previous 3 Wily levels will just still take random deaths off of me. Just like, even now that I've figured them out, I'll just die randomly on occasion. This one, not so much, just because I'd say in terms of, like, instant death traps, it's, like, even more consistent than the previous stages, but in terms of, like, the really tricky stuff that's, like, very likely to, like, end up tripping you up and killing you, it's not nearly as bad about that kind of thing. Like, it's always... You're always in at least some danger of dying in this stage, but never as much danger as in the previous stages, and I don't even know how to get this extra life without the Yoku dude. So we've got a lot of extra lives here, which will be good. So, as with other Mega Man games, we've got the boss teleporter room here, and even though he's a hidden boss, Yoku Man is included, so even if you didn't fight him, you will fight Yoku Man here, which can be pretty tricky if you encountering, like, a new boss for the first time in here. So, I've seen sort of mixed opinions on whether the whole boss refight thing is a good or a bad thing for the Mega Man series, and whether or not they should do it. Although I think, regardless of the debate, I think we can all agree that the way not to do boss teleporters is to put little fucking segments of stage before each and every single goddamn boss. This really irritates me, just because, yeah, like in the regular Mega Man games, like, whether you think it's like it's a good idea or not to have boss refights, it's a speed bump at most. It's like, at worst, it's like a little bit of a waste of time if you decide. It's like you use the Robot Master weapons, and then that's it. It's not too much hassle. You can get through it reasonably quickly, like maybe 10 or 12 minutes. But it's just kind of irritating and mindless, and not a lot of fun, arguably. Here, it's all of that, plus little segments of stage keeping you between each boss fight. So if you end up dying against any of these bosses, it's like, even if you have, say you have a problem, like a boss whose weakness you haven't figured out. Speaking of which, I want to get through this quickly to use all the boss weaknesses, and I cannot. It was Tank Arsenal. This one works best if you get right up close and use it. Whoops. Oh, and this is actually interesting in that the boss refight for Comet Woman is actually quite a bit trickier than her actual fight, because it doesn't have the low-gravity physics of Comet Woman's stage, which makes it a lot more, like, way more difficult to dodge her little orb attack. So that's something you've got to be careful for. That's the one boss that's actually tougher in the refights. And one thing that you'll notice in all of these little segments of stage before in each of these little teleporter rooms is they're really short and not super difficult, although Comet Woman's that you just saw is actually the most difficult, I think. It's to the point where I actually don't have a good way of getting through there without Rush Jet. And speaking of which, I'm gonna try and Rush Jet through these as much as possible, just because I really don't want to end up like I said. And oh shit! But anyway, like I said, these sections aren't really too difficult. Like, not nearly as difficult as some of the stuff we saw in the previous Wily stages, or even in the original Robot Master stages. But what they are is incredibly consistent with the instant death hazards. It's like every single one of these rooms is just either littered with spikes, or suspended almost entirely over a bottomless pit, or has pits everywhere, or disappearing spikes, or what have you. It's just... yeah, so even though it's not the most necessarily like the most difficult thing in the game or anything. It's all instant. It's like, it's not super difficult, but if you screw up, it's instant death. And that's what it is through all of these rooms, and it's like really consistent about it, and it's like there's so much instant death everywhere in all of these rooms that you're just bound to lose a random life at one of them, at some point, just of pure attrition. It's, oh shit, okay. And I really don't like this nonsense here either. Although, yeah, I could have made it easier on myself by playing it smarter. So, Yo-Yo Man's weakness, Jet Missile, which doesn't make the fight a whole lot easier. Although, again, actually, it does make it a lot easier when he's doing this thing. Because, whoops, unless... The reason it doesn't make the fight as easy as it should, in my opinion... Oh, again, I'm not going to get to show off how to dodge the yo-yos. That's sad. Come on, do it once. Oh no, nope, I'm not going to get to show off the correct technique for dodging that yo-yo attack. You'll just have to listen to my verbal description in the last video. But yeah, the homing function of the jet missile is really good for hitting him when he goes up on the ceiling there. Otherwise, it's really hard to get hits on him there. Yoku-man's bit here, actually quite a bit easier than the other bits of stage that you have to go through in the teleporter rooms, in my opinion. I guess just sort of consistent with Yoku-man having the best stage design. Although I will say this, even though it's not necessarily the most difficult, and I'm actually not there could be a pit here, I don't quite remember. Okay, there wasn't. I think there is one in the next segment, though. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, this is probably one of the easier rooms, or the easier sections of level to get through. And I actually can't quite remember what to do here. Okay, I think I remember now. It's here. Oh no. Okay. I actually didn't practice this level beforehand, just because I know it's so long and arduous to get through, and I didn't want to go through the hassle of losing all of my lives to, you know, save and quit. So, it's a bit dangerous territory here, as far as... Okay, so that happened just because of me being dumb and being really nervous about dying here. But yeah, anyways, yeah, Yoku-man's bit of stage, not difficult, but really long and tedious to get through, in my opinion. So I actually don't like this part of his stage. Yeah, the other Robot Master sort of bits of level before the other teleporters are a lot easier to get through, and not as irritating. Like, and again, Yoku-man, this could be the first time you're fighting Yoku-man. Like, maybe you didn't get all the Yoku letters your first time through the game, so this could be your first time, like, facing Yoku-man. I didn't mention it in the fight, but he doesn't really have, like, a really good weakness. He has a weakness, but it's not super effective against him. So it's like, it's conceivable that a person could, like, come in here and just have a lot of trouble figuring out how to beat Yoku-man, and having to go through this whole, like, really long bit of stage every time they have to fight him. And that's the same with all the bosses. If you didn't figure out their weakness the first time, and if you just had a lot of trouble with... Oh, this is tough, too, because if I use his weakness, I'm gonna run out of it and not have enough. Or, I've never tried this, actually. Is he weak against... Holy shit, is he ever weak against his own weapon? So that was cool. So yeah, the other weapon that's somewhat effective against him is the Nitro Blast, but if you use it on him, it'll take all of it to kill him. Which is bad, because the other Robot Master who's weak against Nitro Blast also requires you to use all of it in order to kill him. So that's a bit of arguably bad design there. Personally, I think that Yoku-man should have had some sort of effective weakness that wasn't his own weapon. But I do like the fact that I actually haven't tried out any of the other Robot Master weapons against, like, their respective Robot Masters. So this was Tankman, I believe. His weakness... I actually had a bit of trouble figuring this one out. It's the Nail Shield. Except the thing is, the way you might be tempted to use it is like that, where, and it's really good in that it blocks his shots too, although if you end up blocking 2 of his shots, you end up losing your shield. So you'll have to... Actually, you still want to dodge his shots, but if you don't end up getting hit, you just lose your shield. But if you hit him with, like, the shield while it's around you, you don't end up doing a lot of damage at all. I think it's 1 point. So you actually have to throw the shield at him in order to do any reasonable damage whatsoever. And the first time when I was, like, going through the Robot Master refights and trying to figure out Tankman's weakness, I completely forgot that you could do that with the nail shield, because, like, the main usefulness of the nail shield is in that sort of shield functionality. That's pretty much every time you use it elsewhere in the game, you'll be wanting to use it for the shield. And I just completely forgot that you could throw the shield at all. And for that reason, because I forgot you could throw the shield, I just ended up thinking that Tankman just straight up didn't have a weakness at all. This is some bullshit. They did this in Nitro Man's original stage with the little nitro capsules outside the boss gate, and I ran into them practically every time. And here it catches me every time too. I just don't notice them, and I end up getting here. And here it kills you instead of just making you take the explosion damage. This guy, weak against Rainbow Beam, and it lets you get like a lot of hits on him too, and you are also not in danger of exploding his little head capsule when you fight him this way. So that's good too. It's just, yeah, really trivializes the fight when you beat him that way. It's probably one of the most effective Robot Master weapons to use in terms of boss weaknesses. It's just, you know, in Mega Man games in general, some Robot Masters tend to be easier or harder with the weaknesses. Some weaknesses not so effective, others weaknesses super effective and just trivialize the entire fight. And it's the same in this game. Some Robot Masters, weaknesses not so good. Glue Man is like, his stage here is like super short and easy. I wish more of them had been like this. It's like, yeah, hardly any instant death hazards, just like that little bit in the beginning, just an easy mid-boss to fight through, and then that's it. I wish they'd have taken more of that sort of approach to these stages, or more that kind of length. This guy, Yo-Yo Cutter is his weakness, and it's, again, super effective, not quite to the point that it trivializes the fight, I'd say, just because this boss does so much freaking damage, but shit, like I said, so much freaking damage, and I didn't have much else to begin with. Although, like I said, Yo-Yo Blade, good for as sort of an all-purpose weapon. It's a bit like the sort of, very reminiscent of the Shadow Blade from Mega Man 3, which was also a very useful, sort of versatile, all-purpose weapon in that game. And Yo-Yo Blade, even better, in my opinion, it's sort of approaching the level of Metal Blade in sort of its usefulness. And it also has, again, another sort of secondary function that's you might not necessarily know about if you've just been using it for its sort of eight-directional utility. But it also sort of travels along the ground when it touches, like, if it touches the ground or a wall or something, it'll travel along and, yeah, just travel along the ground or the wall, which is absolutely perfect for Glue Man, because, yeah, he spends all of the fight just sliding around the ground and, you know, jumping up alongside the wall. So it's, like, just super easy. You can, actually, one thing you can do is just sort of throw it at the ground while facing Glue Man. Just throw it at the ground every time, and you will always hit, because, oh, and I forgot about this, I should have practiced this. I believe you can speed through this whole bit. Let us put that notion to the test. Nope. Nope. Nope, that is, again, with the Rainbow Man bullshit, but again, at least it's only 2 screens compared to the other Robot Masters and their sort of teleporter bullshit. I did Comet Woman first, which was sort of the worst of the lot, which sort of made me remember these as being worse than they were. But yeah, Rainbow Man, not a fun stage. Not really a fun boss either. Again, the boss fight is just really very similar to the way it works without the weakness, except way, way faster. Like, you can kill him before he even gets through his pattern once if you're quick about it, and there you go. again, one of those super effective boss weapons that just completely trivializes the fight. This is going to be Jetman. Yeah, these were... I believe I showed off his weakness in the video for that boss fight back when I first fought him, just because, again, this robot, this is probably the worst of the original, of the Robot Master fights in this game, in my opinion. Okay, I was afraid I might... I actually would have backed right into spikes there if I wasn't careful. Oh, and Suitcase. Suitcase carrying, late for his airplane, mustachioed robot enemy makes this encore appearance, which is just wonderful. I can't hate on this bit of level too much. Just I wish they'd have used that in the Wily stages proper as well. So this guy, Comet, the Comet Dash, and again, one of those really not so effective at all Robot Master weapons. Barely any faster than just fighting him in the regular... Or, not barely any faster. It does maybe double damage, I think. Or approximately double damage. And again, if you don't hit him just right, like if you don't hit him with the projectile at the same time as you hit him with the dash, you'll do less damage. And yeah, I think what's going to end up happening this time is I'm actually going to... yeah, I didn't miss a single shot. I hit him with it every single time, but I still didn't have enough of it to finish him off. I had to hit him with my pellets for the last two shots, which is just completely stupid for a Robot Master weakness. It's like ridiculously ineffective compared to what you'd expect for... And it's really a shame that it had to be that boss in particular who has like the least effective weakness in the game. Because yeah, the fight is just as sort of annoying and almost as tedious to go through with the weapon as without it. Nailman, I don't think I have too much to worry about with this guy. So, yeah, this guy's weakness, like I said, Nitro Blast goes right through his shield, makes this... I sort of mentioned about how this guy can be kind of tedious, in that you sort of spend a lot of the time waiting around for him to throw off his shield, and even more so when he does his body attack. No trouble with that whatsoever with the Nitro Blast, although again, if you miss a single shot, you won't have enough to finish him off. So that's the Robot Masters taken care of.